For 3 years, I thought I had found the one. We talked about getting married, building a future, and growing old together. Then one night, while cleaning, I found a wedding invitation in his jacket pocket. It wasn't for our wedding, it was his. And the bride wasn't me. I met Jake at a mutual friend's party. He was charming, sweet, and made me feel like I was the only girl in the world. For 3 years we were inseparable. We travelled together, celebrated holidays as a couple, and even discussed engagement rings. I had met his friends, even a few of his family members, but he always avoided serious commitments. Whenever I brought up the future, he would say, "We have plenty of time. Let's just enjoy the present." Little did I know he was already planning a future with someone else. One night, Jake came over after work. He seemed off, distracted, checking his phone constantly. I assumed it was just stress, so I let it go. He tossed his jacket on my couch, and while cleaning up, I went to move it. That's when something fell out of the pocket. A thick, expensive-looking envelope. I picked it up, flipped it over, and my stomach dropped. It was a wedding invitation. The groom's name was Jake. The bride's name was a woman I had never heard of. I felt like I couldn't breathe. At first my brain tried to rationalize it. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe he's a best man. But when I opened it, I saw the wedding details. It was real, and it was happening in just a few weeks. I felt numb. I walked into the kitchen where Jake was drinking water, completely unaware that his secret had just fallen into my hands. I held up the invitation and said, "So, when were you going to tell me?" His face went pale. "Tell you what?" he said weakly. I tossed the invitation onto the counter. "You're getting married, Jake, and not to me." For a moment, he just stared at it, silent. Then he sighed, rubbed his face and muttered, "You weren't supposed to find out like this." I stared at him, waiting for an explanation. "How long?" I asked, my voice shaking. "How long have you been engaged?" He wouldn't look at me. He just sat down and ran a hand through his hair. "Before I met you." I felt my stomach turn. "So, you've been cheating this whole time?" I demanded. "No!" He snapped, then softened. "It wasn't like that. I love you too. Too." That one word made me want to scream. "So, what was I then?" I asked. He sighed. "You were a part of my life I didn't want to let go of. Like a toy, a backup, a side story in his real life." I kicked him out that night, blocked his number, deleted every picture. But the worst part? His wedding happened anyway. A few months later, I saw the photos. His perfect, expensive wedding with his real fiancé. She had no idea what kind of man she married. For weeks I debated whether I should warn her. Should I tell her that the man she vowed to spend forever with was a liar? Or should I let her find out the hard way? In the end, I stayed silent, because some people don't deserve a warning. It's been a year since that night. At first I blamed myself. How did I not see the signs? But now I realize he was the liar, not me. I wasn't stupid for trusting him. He was just good at pretending. And if there's one thing I learned from all of this, when someone avoids serious conversations, pay attention. If you never meet their family, ask why. If something feels off, trust your gut. Because sometimes the person you love is living a double life. Would you have told his fiancé? Or would you have walked away like I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Upvote if you've ever been lied to in a relationship. Share this with someone who needs to hear this warning.